everyone. Today we're making an absolutely amazing apple pie. I call it winter because it has a snowy winter cap on top. This pie is made in a snap, just like 1, 2, 3. It's even served on the festive New Year's table because it looks simply stunning. It's great that this pie can be made with plums, pears, and adapted to the season. Let's start by preparing the dough. We will need a spoon and a small container. I use butter, but you can substitute it with margarine if you prefer. I add baking powder and a pinch of salt to the flour and mix everything well. The batter should be at room temperature, not straight from the fridge. Why? So that it can be easily crumbled together with the flour. Of course, you can do this with a mixer if you have one, or you can do it by hand like this. We crush fine crumbs. The next thing I need is 3 eggs. Yolks in one direction, whites in another. The whites are for decoration, and the yolks go into the dough. I also add sugar here. Now mix everything well. I base this on the dough recipe from the grated pie on my channel, which I make with blueberries. It's made even faster than this one. And you don't have to bother with apples. So if you have frozen blueberries at home, or you can buy frozen ones at the store. Find the blueberry shortcake on my channel. It has a very simple dough. And the pie turns out so airy, crumbly. It's like each little grain separates when you eat it. It just melts in your mouth. Be sure to find this recipe. When the dough is ready, I will use a 26 cm diameter form for the base. The dough doesn't need to be packed down, so it remains crumbly. Look, there's the base, and I always cut the sides into pieces. I line it like this, pressing it gently. The walls, I've done everything now, along the edges of the walls. Here, I press the joint with my finger, like this. I will need 4 or 5 large ones. Apples like these. So what needs to be done is to peel them and cut them. I choose apples like the Meringue type, so they are sweet and sour. And this peel can be used as a garland. Why not? It's very beautiful how to cut the apples. The apples need to be cut very coarsely. I just have very large apples, so what do? I cut them into 4 parts and remove these cores. This is how to do it quickly. Now, if the apple is huge like mine, I cut each part in half. If you have small regular apples, you can leave them in quarters like this. When the apple is cut coarsely, it doesn't release as much juice. And in the oven, it becomes like a baked apple breaking down like puree. It's very tasty. The apples are ready. By the way, you can use plums and pears instead of apples. I will need a little salt, sugar, and butter. I am already adding the butter to the heated pan. You can use not only a pan, but any pot with a thick bottom. Let the butter melt a little. Add the sugar here. And reduce the temperature so it doesn't start to burn. A pinch is essential. This is how we add the salt. Now, as soon as the butter melts, we'll add the apples here, and they will become somewhat caramelized. It's very tasty with plums and very tasty with pears. So see what you can find or cook according to the season. Now we start adding the apples here as soon as the butter has melted. So first I add a few apples, just enough to cover the bottom. So they start releasing juice. And the sugar gets a little golden. The apple starts to release juice. We mix it. Be careful not to set the temperature too high. Look, like this. And now the second half of the apples goes in as well. If you add all the apples at once, there won't be as much liquid. There won't be enough apple juice, and it will be hard to mix everything so that each apple is surrounded by a delicious sweet coating. Periodically, of course, every minute, I open it like this and check slightly to make sure it's not burning. But everyone will have a different stove, and the apples release juice gradually, so it shouldn't burn. Under the lid, the apple should become soft like this. The apples are cooking 5-7 minutes. So look, there's a lot of liquid. At what point should they be turned off? Well, I stirred them just a couple of times, no more, so it doesn't all turn into mush. There's still a kind of crust on top, as if there is, you see, it's kind of firm. but inside the apple is already soft and cooked. Now I'm turning it off. Carefully transfer them just like that. Place the apples directly into the dish so you don't have to stir them with a spoon and end up with puree. Oops. Basically, it's all easy. Now, set it aside for just 2 minutes and prepare the mixer for a brief moment longer. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees now. Put the egg white we have left into the mixer. Add a pinch of salt to it and start whisking. Add sugar and whisk until stiff peaks form. A couple of drops of lemon juice. You can use this kind of concentrated lemon juice. Turn it off. And transfer the egg white onto the pie. Spread the egg white. Remember, the egg white will rise in the oven, so it will be level with the pie or maybe even higher, depending on how your oven bakes. I make these little swirls on the pie. So it looks, you know, like snow, as if snow has just fallen in the morning. And this is how it looks. Well, that's it. It bakes for about 20-25 minutes. Definitely no more than half an hour. My oven is already preheated. We put it in and wait eagerly. After 10 minutes, I open the form. It's still, of course, hot, but the cake will easily come off. So we lift it like this. Carefully, carefully hot. Okay, now it's still hot. Let it sit on the table for another 15-20 minutes. Well, it's very beautiful. So the pie is already warm, but I'm going to cut it. Oops. Well, now let's see how it looks inside. Like this, carefully. Wow, what beauty. Oh, what an aroma. The apple smells so good. Well, this is how it looks. This is how it is inside. Now, we eat. It's still warm, but that's just perfect. A little powdered sugar on top, just a bit. And serve. Look, it definitely looks like snow. The powdered sugar won't melt on top anymore. In general, such beauty. It's so tall and beautiful, so I serve it warm. I also want to ask you, maybe someone can come up with a decoration for the top of this cake. For New Year, like a winter hat of snow, but I feel like something else on the snow, I don't know. But in general, come up with something, write to me, and I will definitely film and show in the New Year's menu what decoration option for this pie. Because it is very budget friendly and very, very tasty. So, let's try it. What did we get? So look here, the egg white like a snow cap. Oh, 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 oh. Look how beautiful it is. It cuts gently and nicely. You need to try everything together. Otherwise, you won't understand the taste. So, let's try it. Now, here are 3 secrets to making this pie. First, do not compact the bottom. Otherwise, the bottom will be lower and denser. And it will absorb all the juice from the apples. And by the second day, it will become somewhat soggy, as we say. When we don't compact the dough, it remains more crumbly and juicy. The apples must be large. The larger the apples, the better. If they are small, just cut them in half. And the snowy cap, I always whip it like this. 3 egg whites. But I'll tell you this. If you don't mind using 1 more egg and just add 1 more egg white, you don't need the yolk anywhere. To have even more egg white on top, then it will just be fluffier on top. Well, you need to sacrifice 1 or 2 more eggs for that. For 1 egg white, I whip 50 grams of sugar, then it whips up very well. You can also add cinnamon here. Cinnamon pairs perfectly with apples. Well, that's it. That's the kind of pie. I'm looking forward to your decoration ideas for the top of the pie. That's all. I love you. Watch me on the R1 TV channel. Subscribe to my channel. Happy holidays.